You're not real.
Monsters, aliens, vampires. Many of us grew up captivated by the worlds brought to life on the big screen. Whether it was the snarling werewolves of horror classics or the subtle transformation of a beloved character, special effects makeup has always been the hidden hand behind the magic. We've been scared, amazed, and inspired, oftentimes without realizing the artists behind the masks, the brushes, and the latex. Now, we pull back the curtain to explore the craft that turns imagination into reality. We start at Full Sail University, with an instructor helping mold the next generation of movie magic. This is Behind the Latex.
Good morning. I'm Craig Hicks. I am a lab specialist in the makeup department in film. Welcome to my makeup lab. Man, it goes back to I was a little kid. I was literally a child when I started doing this. I got paid for a sculpted cast latex mask. I was 11 years old. I delivered it on my bike. A teacher paid me $20 for an Easter Bunny mask. My toys as a child were toys that were like makeup oriented. I used to have a guy named Hugo, man of 1,000 faces, and Hugo had rubber noses and little stitched up eyes that you could glue onto this little figure. I think really probably the one that got me the first was the original Planet of the Apes that John Chambers did all those monkey masks, you know? And I remember getting a magazine where it showed Dan Strepek actually applying those in sequential, so you could actually see how that makeup was applied and glued on and put together and painted. And I was like, wow, that's like the coolest thing ever. And then there's guys like Dick Smith. I took Dick Smith's makeup professional course. Got to enjoy time with Dick before he passed away. Rick Baker's a huge influence on me. Stan Winston is a huge influence on me. I love all those guys. Greg Cannon, we just lost Greg Cannon. Greg Cannon was a wonderful makeup artist, won a whole bunch of Oscars. I think he won 4, was nominated for 7, something like that. And like he did Dracula, you know. Well, you know, film in its essence is collaborative. I never make anything that's just for me. Never have. My job is to bring other people's vision to life, whether it be a director or a production designer or an art director or things of that nature, you know. A lot of times you're given directives, but it's also a conversation. I also work extensively with actors about what they like, what they want to look like, how to design their character. A lot of times they don't have the character until we've done our magic on them, you know. Think about the most recent one is Colin with the penguin makeup. You know, that's the best makeup that's been put on film in the last 50 years. Sometimes it's really great to know what the setting is going to be, what the colors involved in the color palette. You know, if you're doing something like a Wes Anderson film, the colors are so specific that your makeup palette has to match into his color palette that the film is going to be directed in. So these are all things that you need to collaborate on. And I've done some 3-hour makeups. Might have done probably not more than 3.5. I know I did some on my buddy Keith when I was first building my portfolio, and I was kind of green. It took me a long time to get through, and they were full prosthetic pieces, 8 or 9 different pieces: forehead, nose, cheeks, mouth, you know, lips, mouth, whatever. Well, when I started out, there was no CG at all. Everything was in camera. You know, I mean, you might have had some optical printing type stuff, things of that nature, where you can, like, you do stop motion stuff. I think that as far as makeup goes and makeup effects goes, as long as you have performers, you're going to have makeup people. You know, I don't see any dip in what we do. And again, I'm going to go back to the penguin again, you know, because Colin couldn't have played that character without that makeup. Or if you look at Gary Oldman playing Churchill recently, right, for The Darkest Hour, again, these are Oscar-winning makeups that they couldn't do that with CGI or anything like that. I think that there's a practical way to use both technologies more integrated than they have been in the past. I'd like to get back more to pre-planning a movie. The reason that a lot of these effects things are being done in post is because I haven't planned it out ahead of time. It's so much easier to say, when you're shooting this stuff, we'll just fix it in post. And then it puts a big, heavy burden on VFX guys. VFX guys are overworked, underpaid. They're killing these guys in order to pull off all of these VFX stuff. It's always been a tough job, whether you're doing it in a computer or you're making molds in a lab. You're always going to put in more hours than a lot of people do. But I think if you plan things enough, you can get the practical stuff produced and made in time to be on set, where you're not just like, let's do it in post. We know what it's going to be. We'll figure it out later. More planning, right? Don't beat yourself up. Everything takes practice. It's not going to be perfect the first time. It's not going to be perfect the 10th time. It's not going to be perfect the 100th time. As an artist, I am never satisfied with my work. Every piece I do can be better. I don't know how. I try to do it as well as I can, but don't beat yourself up over that. Give yourself some grace, especially as you're learning how to do this kind of stuff. If you have a passion for something, believe in yourself. No one else is going to do it until you do. So believe in yourself and everything will happen. That's it.